He killed Viktor at the end, so
Yeah, I
he
mean,
just needed that.
it's pretty crazy. It's like at that point he actually is kind of becoming a semi ADC, right? Like you actually are becoming somewhat of a damage threat. It's kind of in a different way. It's funny because Zyra becomes kind of a mid laner late game, right? Like when you do have those items and stuff. Is this going to become actually a second ADC if it goes long enough?
It's like the AD Zyra, right? Because Zyra does like the magic, but MF does the physical part of it. So I don't know.
I love it. I love it. Well, we are going to see what happens in the bottom lane. So 2v2, Prey Gorilla versus Bang, and Wolf dropped his bans are done. Sorry, excuse me. Syndra, Rise, Aurelion Sol, and Jace 3.5 mid lane bans once again. Karma ban this time for Rox. Actually, Nidalee gonna round up the bans there, but we saw this from Prey. His Ashe is incredible. We saw Bang's Ashe in game number 1 and weren't that impressed. Prey showed up on Ashe, and that's the first pick overall for Rox here.
And last game, honestly, was a complete smash in the bot lane. Prey was disgustingly ahead of Bang, and the whole team, like Rox's whole team, did a good job of kind of snowballing that, right? With the bot lane dive that they did, the roams down. They put a lot of effort in it, and it really paid off big time because Prey was massive at the Baron fight. He was massive at the end of the game with that arrow stopping the TP. So this guy showed up huge, and we'll see if Bang can kind of battle back a bit in this game 3.
I also think SKT are getting completely destroyed in the pick ban right now. You see they're really there. 1-2 before was Zyra and Zyra and Olaf, sorry. But now they're really hesitant to pick the Zyra into the possible MF, and Rox ban their own Karma. So there's Rox can actually just take Zyra for free, and assuming SKT don't have a great counter pick into it, it could be disastrous.
It'd be pretty funny if they pick Zyra now and then Wolf plays Miss Fortune support.
You think he has it ready? I don't think he has it ready.
I wouldn't think he has it ready, but you never know, man.
Yeah.
Some of these guys have a lot of balls and are willing to bring out picks, in these big international tournaments. Obviously, I think that one is not one that you probably have ever practiced for most people, but.
Well, they actually don't take Zyra on the Rox side. They go with jungle once again for Peanut. Lee Sin into Olaf for the second game in a row. SKT's junglers have only played Olaf, interestingly, this series so far. And Kuro going to take a nice safe mid laner there in Viktor. So no huge surprises, but we do have to look at bottom lane here. SKT are likely going to lock in one or maybe even both of their dual lane picks here. And Zyra being up kind of says to me that they should probably take it.
Well, I mean, it's like it was saying, though. The
MF,
right? MF is still available, so they've kind of, because of that MF, they really have put a wrench in the gears, but it is going to be Zyra locked in, and now we get to see, is it just going to be MF locked right
Oh my god, he did it!
Oh my god.
I think the reason for SKT's big ban right now is they feel like they've learned something significant from the last game from the Zyra. They're willing to go up against again, but with Caitlyn this time. So maybe it was the AD carry mismatch too. So yeah, I think at least they're willing to tailor their gameplay just a little bit.
Yeah, I think Caitlyn actually changes this up a lot. I think that Ezreal was a lot weaker into this than the Caitlyn is. And I mean, the fact of the matter is, the follow-up CC that you have makes it very scary for the MF. If you can actually land a Zyra root on the MF, follow that up with a Caitlyn trap, this is going to be a squishy support. That guy can just straight up die. So, he does have the poke. You do have that ability to kind of zone out the Zyra, but you are going to be very susceptible to kind of getting that poke traded back on you. And I think that Caitlyn should match up better against the Ashe and the MF here.
And also their last pick in Ekko here, I think it also does well into every one of Rox's champions right now. I think it does well into its own matchup, as well as all the immobile champions Rox picked.
Yeah, and we saw this in the last game. It's actually a very similar looking game. Faker and Orianna is a bit of a change. Kuro took the Viktor there, and that again should be a relatively straightforward mid lane matchup, but Faker did get an edge, what we thought would be a farm heavy matchup here. I think Rox, Smeb should be fine in his 1v1, maybe if Peanut comes, and Peanut paid a lot of attention to the bottom lane last game, so could have a ton of action once more in the bottom lane, as we will get a repeat of the wonderful Ashe MF bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Faker has gotten more than a little edge in both games.
Yeah, true.
He's pretty
kind
much
of destroyed that lane.
In game 1, he was not only up 30 CS while getting 3-man ganked twice, he solo took the first turret. He's been smashing lane, and I think Kuro knows that, and Kuro is kind of trying to get out of lane and do other things elsewhere, so that's something that SKT always has to be aware of. Because Kuro, it feels like he's bailing out of lane a lot and just going to roam.
Yeah, also, if I'm Kuro, at least from the last game, I would feel confident in my team. He didn't really have to contribute much. He died a Faker in lane, but he knows he could still win the game off of it.
Yep, I have to think again, Rox comfortable with the setup, but like you said, Gate, maybe they learnt something after playing against it there. Well, we'll have to see what happens, but keep your questions coming on Twitter and use the hashtag AskTheCasters, and we'll continue bringing you answers throughout the day. We've had a lot of great questions so far. Keep them coming in, and you guys are probably excited to see the support MF last game and not be able to ask questions. Now you can. We're here with the bot lane stream. We've covered top, we've covered mid. Let's go where Gate loves. support. Now his new favorite support champion, I assume, is Fortune.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about it earlier, but my go-to against Zyra is Brand. And he's telling me something new. Maybe this is the way of the future.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be at least giving it a shot, try it out, and see how it goes. You got to imagine the solo queue is going to be...
Preferably not in my game. Any other game, it should be fine.
Yeah, maybe in your game on the other team, but...
Oh, yeah, for sure. But then I hope I'm not playing Zyra.
Yeah.
We see a lot of fighting. Like, this has happened every game so far. Both bot duos will just come here and fight for vision so they don't get cheesed in a level 1.
I mean, Wolf lost his flash in the last game, so hold on to it there. Playing a little safer there, back towards his lane. Kuro actually going back, interestingly, or maybe just, yep, seeing the animation. It is a good one.
Just having fun, really. There's nothing to do in the level 1 here.
Yep. Caitlyn not getting poked either. The off to the side, Bang and Prey were kind of looking at each other, but pretty normal as far as the level 1 goes. Plant spawned up by Zyra. And be curious to see kind of what the duo lanes want to do here as the waves first meet.
It's kind of an advantage for Zyra for this to happen because, you see her just spawning her plants. She's going to be able to, unless all of them die here. Yeah, she has at least a small advantage. Like, she can help use the plants to push the lane and get like that level 2 advantage. And some damage going out too.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. So in this matchup, are you going to be favoring Zyra Caitlyn then because of that AD carry change, or you still think that the MF should have enough of an advantage to actually kind of put it in their favor?
How I like to see it is just in these delicate like range versus range matchups, the most important HP is actually on the range champion or like the support champion. We'll just have to see like how much damage, Prey and Prey and Bang can like exert on the opposing support actually.
It's actually pretty interesting as well with just the love tap passive and stuff from MF. Her autos are actually pretty impactful, even just that one auto trade. You can see he's prepping autos on minions, kind of remove that debuff, put it on something else, and then he does get those autos off on Bang whenever that debuff is ready. He's just going to go through E, one auto. So it's a nice little trading pattern there too.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I think most of their damage should actually be like focused on Zyra because if Zyra's too low to like contest the brush vision, it's actually the lane gets really swung. Like at this timing, I think they're trading too much damage on Prey because, or Bang rather, because Bang has some sustain in his Doran and his like Warlords. So yeah. I think it's just like they have to focus their targets a little bit better.
Yeah. There's a lot of lifesteal and kind of sustain from Masteries for ADs in general now. You have not only Warlords and your Dorans, but you also have Feast that you give the 30 HP back every like 30 seconds from minions. You also have the just percentage lifesteal talent. So I do definitely agree. I think that focusing that harass on Zyra would make more sense. And Prey is kind of taking more of that poke so far.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing it right here. Yeah,
they're trying.
They are both supports. Honestly, like when you play these range supports, they always go all offense in their rune pages and masteries. There's like not even a little bit of defense, so just using your spells do more damage on them as well.
You can see a lot of consumables actually move through. Wolf is out of biscuits, but there's still some there for Gorilla. So maybe winning the poke war, but looks like the push is kind of in favor of SKT right now. They did actually early on get the level 2, but didn't convert into too much else. And you can kind of see the play pattern for this lane. We've even got like extra plant auto attacks to try and clear them out fast because you do have 2 AD carries. Like, it's really interesting to watch this lane 2v2.
Yeah, and like it seems like SKT already learned from this. Their early game's going pretty well. Wolf's at like, just like I say, he takes some damage, but
yeah, he actually took like 40% of his health there, so that's like a pretty significant amount. And since he doesn't have potions, the next couple trades are going to be pretty important.
Yeah, he's going to have to go home if he gets like the same pattern. I think MFE's up. He's going to take some damage. Yeah, I think he's playing it fairly well for the most part, but at least they have control of the lane for SKT right now.
Yeah, I will say, I like it a lot more when Prey actually saves his volley to use on the Zyra. So like when you throw down the MF, make it rain, you throw down the slow, then that should be like a super free volley that you can actually go up and land there. So to me, that's more what he should be aiming for. But Prey has been kind of more trading with Bang, using his volley and try to use it on the minions and stuff. But especially when Wolf has so little sustain left, he doesn't really have anything left. If you hit one more volley, the guy just has to leave, and it looks like he's going to have to leave right now. But
he's going to get to leave for free though, as he's going to come back, and Rox won't get too much of like a footing on this lane. So overall, Wolf just sacrificed his health for like lane positioning, and then now he's gonna get back like at a good time too.
Picks up the early Frostfang, so he's gonna be pretty rich.
I love it. You can see Bang. He's going to do what he can here. They're going to try and push the lane back out. Great damage, actually, just from the make it rain love tap. But Rox not going to take this opportunity. We'll back together. And this is something we talk about in a lot of different lanes, but I feel like maybe is most critical in bottom lane, your back timings. Because, you know, two people can push out the wave. You want to make sure it's in a good spot. And, of course, you want to never be too far behind the other guy as far as itemization goes.
Yeah, ideally, like the best situation is just to have two people.
Oh, Wolf's here. They could try to look for something. If he can hit a
kill,
root
actually.
on Kuro.
Ooh, bit of a bait. No ult from Faker. Yeah, Peanut going to eat it.
That's a
Gets
lot
out
of
though.
damage.
Yeah, that's a good little trade. And I mean, the fact is, getting him low now kind of gives your lanes a little bit more freedom to play with. You know that their jungler has been chunked out. He can clear the pink board. And although it is a bot lane stream, you still have to track how the other lanes are doing. And Rox kind of had to make that move to try to help Kuro out a little bit, because Kuro was actually getting quite far behind to Faker in the mid lane, and it has now evened out as a result of Faker backing off and then being able to kind of push it in.
Yeah, this is like kind of, like you said, Kuro's laning hasn't been super great the last few games. When you're playing like a TP-less mid laner like Viktor, pushing out the wave and getting the opportunity to go home is really big. So
yep,
it's definitely good for Rox to help him with that.
Yeah, he's going to need to upgrade his X score. So he actually got that threshold, so he is going to be pretty happy about that. And he was down like 12 CS before they actually kind of pushed Faker back. So he gets a good base off, but back here in the bot lane, it's going to be a big wave pushing into SKT that they can start to collect. And already Gorilla has eaten quite a bit of poke there.
I think the most important thing now for the Rox duo, they're going to just get their ults together, or hopefully like around the same time. They're just going to use it on one target. I think that's a guaranteed kill. It does, like, Emma probably does like 800 damage with her full combo, maybe a little less, but yeah, I think that the threat right now is just hitting level 6 and just casting your spells.
And it feels like that's what happened a lot in the last game, so curious to see if SKT can learn from that and maybe change some of their positioning and keep those summoners up, make sure they don't get tagged by an arrow. Though Prey is very good at aiming, I will say that much.
Yeah. And to me, it kind of feels like when it's that sort of situation, SKT needs to kind of get them in this disadvantageous health point, basically. Like, they have to chunk them out before they can get 6 and do the all-in, right? Because if you're very low and you go for that all-in, the other person can kind of trade back and maybe kill you off. So we'll have to see if that's going to happen. But Peanut sneaking around here in the bot lane, and
ooh, there's double 6 as well. They are going to go in. Gorilla flashes forward. Wolf's going to get ignited, and there's first blood again. Peanut, kick bang back in. Absolutely massive play, and Gorilla will just stay alive.
Wow, that's exactly what I was talking about. They just use their level 6s together. Gorilla flash in.
Oh no, it feels bad. Protective.
He's going to get...
Yep. Oh, ulti, shields. Yep, see you later. And gets an easy kill. But Peanut doesn't follow that cue.
Is he going to die? No way. Okay.
He's going to live, but I don't even really know. Okay, he is going to be able to come back and pick up the farm. I was going to say, if he lost on that farm, it wouldn't have been super worth it. But yeah, right off that level up, instantly throws in the ult. So they'd actually called Peanut down before AShe was level 6, so that he was in position. Right as he levels up, he skills his ultimate, hits that there, and they're able to go aggressively in for it. Peanut landing it, the kick flash in. Very nicely done by Rox, and obviously very aware of kind of those power spikes that they have to hit, like you were talking about, waiting for the level 6. They didn't even need it on him.
Wonderful target selection, great execution on the play. This is kind of, I think, what we were missing last game when we were looking at mid lane, so it's great to see it back in action again. And you know, Prey up about 10 CS, Bang is doing just fine, but his AShe is amazing. If they can continue this pattern, Gorilla Roam.
Yeah, also the more I look at it, like, I can see exactly why MF is a great counter to Zyra. When Zyra moves up just to cast her spells, it's kind of slow. Like, just casting the E right away and just moving out of the way to not get hit by the Zyra spells, it seems pretty easy to do. And like, Gorilla's just doing it over and over and getting Wolflow sets up that kill. So I think they're actually really well rehearsed with this bottom duo.
Yeah, you have a pretty significant range advantage. Like, make it rain, you can actually throw that down from quite far away. And Peanut, once again, back to the bot lane here. They're just going to be looking for the return gang because they know that summoners are down on Wolf. If you catch him with an arrow, he's basically 100% dead. So Wolf is going to have to play very, very carefully.
Oh no.
There it is.
Did it again. Stun lands through. He's out. He's actually going to die just on his own now. Gorilla gets it. This is amazing.
This bot duo is so hilarious to watch, honestly. They just cast their spells together. It's just like a guaranteed kill every time.
It's obviously very different, but it kind of reminds me in a way of how people used to play old Graves Leona lanes and stuff like that. And obviously that's a long time ago, but that's kind of what it reminds me of, where you just play that lane to hit 6 and you'd have almost guaranteed kill if you execute your all-in properly, and this feels very much like that, at least against the Zyra.
Yeah, it almost seems like it's super safe to use, because if you miss the arrow, it's like, okay, let's try again next time, but if you hit it, it's just a free kill.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Peanut's paying attention down here as well, but he didn't need to be there for the last one. He didn't know that, so it's good that he's there anyway. But we maybe expect the other lanes to suffer. Smeb doing just fine 1v1. Kuro behind, but it's not too bad. SKT, they're going to try and collapse here for this Cloud Drake. Looks like Rox won't be in position to contest for it, so I like this move a lot. No vision there for Rox means that it should be a Drake given over, but Rox have picked up so many Infernals this series already, they're probably happy to give away this Drake.
Yeah, I mean, you're never happy about it, but I will say that it's okay.
Oh, feels bad.
Oh, he stole it too, and then he's going to get the kill.
Really gross.
Oh, that is actually quite nice there for Faker, because having a CS disadvantage is one thing, but when you start giving someone who's ahead of you in farm and XP, also giving him kills and extra gold in that kind of way, that's when you can really start to snowball and take over. So Kuro's going to have to be careful.
Yeah, that was well executed on SKT's part. Oh, I was scared for him right there. But I think Peanut, just the series too, he has been playing pretty carelessly.
Yeah.
I mean, if he saw the ball right away, I'd assume he figured like, okay, there's more than one person missing too.
I think he was just greeting for the Wraith, honestly.
Yeah,
he wanted it. I think he could have just ward hopped out, but he wanted to get the Wraith, and he loses both the Wraith and his life. Not worth.
Yeah, I think also maybe his team, for like, maybe the comms were not clear on who could be there. I'm sure if he knew like 2 people could be right on me, he would definitely just jump out since he sees one.
And they're trying. I like it from SKT, because you can tell the Rox are trying it again. They've got their ultimates back and ready, but Wolf does have his flashback. Couldn't flash the first arrow, didn't have it in the second one.
The fact of the matter is, even if you shoot out the arrow as prey and he flashes it, you're still super happy about that. That's a much shorter cooldown, especially because AShe is likely going to build into CDR. I would assume, he has the longswords, are probably going to be building into Essence Reaver and that kind of CDR build. And you have a lot of AShe arrows up, you can keep trading them, and anytime you're able to get a long summoner for that, it's going to feel good.
Yeah, and also for SKT,
there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Going again, ulti follows through, not enough damage this time, but Bang does commit his own summoner. This time it's a heal.
I guess they can't kill him from full, so that's kind of sad.
Prey also didn't even auto once, so I think that had Prey been further forward, they might have been able to, but even just pushing him out, look at all the damage they're going to get on this turret now, and and if their jungler was around, they could easily threaten the dive, so they have so much pressure because of it.
Yeah, I think this is as big as a counter pick we've seen so far. Like, really, I don't see what SKT can really do against this pairing. Like, the Zyra can't get in range to do anything. The Caitlyn is like just sitting there farming, nothing to do because the range is too long from MF.
To me, the thing you can do is you can bring down your jungler. Like, Olaf, I think, can run these guys down pretty well, and especially when they're pushing to your turret like this non-stop, I think that getting some help from your jungler is kind of what you need, right?
Yeah.
And that just hasn't happened this game. If you leave it in the isolated 2v2, it's going to be really bad. And losing that turret now is so bad for SKT because it unlocks these guys to move around the map and kind of do this to other people.
A major point is just like the first AShe arrow we saw with Peanut coming down. Like, they executed on that play first. Maybe if like the Olaf was there much earlier than Peanut, they could have done something. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where you can't really help them, and they already lost their turret, so nothing much for Blank to do.
Ooh, Wolf's gonna get faced at Kuro. That's gonna force a flash, and I feel like Wolf knows he's gonna die the next time he sees Prey and Gorilla with that summoner down. Also of note, they did go back and buy. They kind of stayed for a while committing for that tower. They've given a nice bit of extra gold. So Swifty's done for Gorilla, and Essence Reaver completed for Prey, who has tier 2 boots up already.
I think that flash he just had to use was really like slip in focus, because like a common Zyra trick is obviously just to W the brush before you check
arrow.
Oh. Yeah, he was definitely dead if that hit, actually.
Peanut wants it, kicks in again. Enough damage. Oh, it's barely not enough. Very nice from Faker with the shield there as well.
Yeah, Wolf just...
Wow, 32 HP he was done.
I can't imagine being Wolf right now, actually. I would be tilted from this play phase, so maybe it's really affecting his play, just how the game is going.
You kind of have to think so, because the fact of the matter is, AShe ult from full vision, he wasn't even slowed, and he's been hit by like every single AShe ult, right? The last one where he got ulted into the turret and didn't flash that, these are things where you would expect a player to be able to reactively flash that relatively easily. And and he's not being able to sidestep. He's putting himself in bad positions, and he's not kind of like being able to respond in a good way. But I will say that trade right there, at least, is pretty decent for SKT because Peanut did have flash. Yeah. They're going to try to run down top.
Smeb doing what he can. Going to get chased down though, and that seems like not a good time. Freebie there for Duke. Nice little gank there from Blank. So again, not going bottom lane, definitely trying to affect the other stages. Wolf also roaming, so I like that he kind of knows that the lane is not a safe place. He's going to try to go somewhere else. Both feet donated to Kuro though.
I do think it's really smart to try to help out the Ekko because he was struggling a bit. And if Duke can get to the point where he is kind of like outpacing the damage of his opponent, you can run down Rumble very easily. And he can really start to struggle in those lanes when you have Merc Treads and Spirit Visage and, you know, like Iceborne and so on and so forth. You can just chase him down forever, so it can become pretty tough. But now it kind of seems like because bot lane turret is down, the supports are roaming. Oh, that's a good flash.
That's the kind of flash Wolf should be doing. But yeah.
Just do what Faker does.
Just copy him.
Yeah, easy.
A lot of people do, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Ooh, TP play. Who they're looking for.
Oh,
there it's bang.
That looks grim.
You are very overextended. Does flash. Equalizer still slowing. Gorilla gonna line it up. Flash forward. Ignite. Auto. Make it rain. Ulti. Oh my god. Gorilla's a feed.
Just watching that just makes me, I had to laugh. It's just too funny.
All right, so that's great timing for our Twitter question there. Brainless Monkey asks, assuming AShe MF keeps showing up, what support can best punish her? Kench, Braum, what are we thinking?
Well, I think this Karma would do fine. Just like another non-Zyra support. This is a counter pick in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's,
that feels bad.
But it's one of those things where it's probably only going to show up if you pick Zyra, right? So it's not just going to be a blind pick support MF, because I think there's a lot of things that could smash this lane. So it is one of those things where we're probably only going to see it show up if your opponents pick it first. But like Kate said, I think there's a lot of stuff that probably could.
This is what I think. For Zyra, she does the same thing MF does, but slower. But if you pick like a different stylistic support, like I said, Karma, she can poke just as well. She can control the brush. She can set up ganks. Basically does all the things MF cannot do. So I think this pairing is particularly strong too. As we're going to see him.
Yeah, I like this again a lot from Wolf leaving the lane. Zyra does have a good amount of CC. You can see it there with the E, with the ultimate kind of committing in. Gorilla's trying to roam around and help. Nice ulti.
Is this one more kill? Yeah.
Wolf, he can see it again. Peanut's just going to kick him. He's dead.
That is hilarious.
Didn't even ulti, and now Ragnarok pod. Blank could be dead here as well. Peanut.
His ult here.
Looking for something. Who does he want? Good block there from Duke, but now the Warthog's going to come in. Kicked in the face, slowed down by Prey, and the auto's going to keep coming in. Damage is good. Gorilla looking for it, but Peanut gets himself another kill.
This Rox's bot duo is actually just running rampant on the game. Like, I don't know. It seems like it's definitely an issue. Just like this AShe MF pairing.
One thing at least that's going a bit better for them than last game, though, is at least the Caitlyn has relevant farm, right?
Yeah.
Last game, Ezreal was massively behind in farm and kills, so this way he is at least somewhat relevant, and I think that Wolf is kind of in this tough position because once they're this far behind in lane and his first counter pick and blah, 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 you can't lane anymore, so he has to roam, and they have done a good job of at least moving around the map and trying some stuff, but, you know, he's going to get punished on the exit.
That's just also just a
Prey is so good.
Yeah, that's just a clean arrow, and I think this, I don't know, this whole play just seems a little strange. They're just a little too deep without too much knowledge of the enemy bot duo.
Again, all pretty straightforward here.
Took his time with that one too. Made sure he lined it up.
Bang gonna get red buffs, so he's getting a little better, but Hurricane plus the BF sword means that Bang's kind of in that trough where he just wants to farm up and get 2, maybe 3 items, and he'll be kind of allowed to accelerate that a bit with the Rune's Hurricane, but Rox Tigers are just starting to put pressure on these turrets, and now mid-out is getting heavily threatened by 280 carries.
Yeah, they're just getting free hits. Also, they have the Ocean Drag, so they can keep this up for a while. I think they're just trying to... they don't have too much to do on the map right now, so they're just grouping together.
Hero comes out.
Oh, hits him again. No. Bang gets hit that time.
Wow.
Prey is just honestly,
actually a beast.
Yeah, he's carrying this game. Like, walking around, he's hit so many arrows in a row, and he's been involved in almost everything. 2-0-4, he's only missed out on the 1 kill. Gorilla has actually been involved in everything, so this has been such a bot lane-centric game for Rox, and they're really doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, Yeah, that's why it's sad I didn't get to cast about the bot lane the last game. So much action happened where you're just watching Viktor versus Karma.
Well, you got your wish this game, Gate, because it's been the show put on once again. And I think you guys mentioned Wolf's mentality, you know, maybe just feeling the struggle, feeling like, you know, it's so frustrating. I get it in, like, one game you kind of lose a freak game versus, you know, a weird counter pick, and you're like, okay, like, I got smashed, but, like, I can beat it. Let's do it again. He has to be so tilted now.
Yeah.
Like, losing 2 convincing lanes in a row at least, maybe not a game just yet. Like, Wolf's, he's mentally got to be a little done here.
It's definitely tough, but I honestly think that they were doing fine, and they could have perhaps been able to farm that lane out and been okay. But Rox just executed on the first kill so well. You know, you had talked about it a little bit already, Gabe, but just the fact that instant Ashe arrow level 6, Peanut's already there with level 6. Not only do they kill 1, they kill 2, and they get summoners. So that really started the snowball and allowed them to continue it up. So I think that SKT was probably right that they could have played it well enough that it might have been okay. But Rox just kind of like outplayed them. They played it better, they were smarter, they were prepared. And as a result, they were able to start that snowball. And once they were ahead and had a good matchup, it's pretty tough.
I think the key here is actually the Ashe. Like, I know they took Ashe first pick, but that should really just say how important it is to get this Ashe for your duo, as well as, like, you can imagine if you just swapped ADCs, the Ashe could set up on the MF really easily as well. So just like, I think recognizing certain picks, you know, SKT played Ashe the other game too, right? So I think they know how strong Ashe is, and we'll probably see a higher priority on it in the next game.
And of all the players to get Ashe, Prey is like unbelievably good at the champ. He might be the world's best Ashe. Smeb sneaks away, flash scrap shield, gets his way out. And we do have a question actually from Devin Schaefer, who asks, why did Prey buy a Cull instead of getting another longsword? It's a very common bottom line question. We see Cull second quite a lot. Gate, insight.
I think it's much better than getting longsword usually, just because one of the benefits is just sustain against a lot of the heavy poke lanes we see. 2, it just lets you buy get to your 2 item much faster.
Bang.
I don't think this is a kill.
Yeah, no, that one's a little tricky.
They're getting too ambitious. Well, I mean, I guess they just shot out the arrow and see what it would get. But
I also think they were trying to hopefully hit Faker, right?
Yeah,
if you hit Faker with that ult, then that could be a kill.
Yeah.
So I think it's still worth a try, especially because he already has his 30% CDR, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is not a big deal to use a rank 2 Ashe ultimate. Look at it; it's almost halfway done. The cooldown.
Yeah.
It's just funny to see the MF ult layered on. It's like, oh, maybe I got him.
Yeah, no, not quite enough there. And I guess just to finish the conversation on Cull, obviously longsword maybe not as valuable. What about versus second Dorans is the other thing people might consider.
Well, basically, Cull is an investment in the later game, right? It does have a bit of that sustain that you talked about, but if you just want pure laning power, you would go Dorans.
Okay.
So longsword is like, you want power now. It's
the mid-ground
it's higher
almost.
fighting power, basically, and it's building into something, whereas Dorans is full committal to kind of like early. Like, the longsword is a component, right? So you can be building it into something later. It's going to be useful, whereas Cull is a little bit of kind of in the middle. You get some sustain, but you're also going to cash in on the gold later. So it's just an investment in the later game. And I personally think that Cull is undervalued a lot of the time, especially in pro play, because pro play is often very, very passive. And if you're just going to buy a longsword and then farm your lane for 20 minutes, then that longsword was pretty worthless, and it could have been a Cull, which would have netted you an advantage later.
Yeah, I think the biggest argument for it is some ADCs are strong on one item. A good example is Jhin, who goes the armor pen build. For that champion, I would rather get the longsword and then build that into my field moves faster than finishing my Cull.
Blink again.
Sure. But for these kind of AD carries, for an Ashe, for a Caitlyn, I think it's more okay.
Ooh, Hollow, big damage, turning it around. Smeb gonna get in there as Kuro blows up 4, defenseless Wolf Peanut. Gonna tag up Blank as well. SKT, I feel like they're starting to get a little restless.
I mean, Wolf is like
he's
almost. I don't even know what he's doing. I mean, he's straight up whiffing his Zyra ult. He's not even landing damage from it. The last 2 times he used it, it just feels like it's way too aggressive. You flashing in as a Zyra into the whole team, like, what was he gonna accomplish there?
Yeah, it feels like it should be a little calculated. Obviously, you know, he missed it. It looks really bad on him, but it didn't seem like a good chance to use his flash E anyways.
Yeah.
So
the reward was too low for the risk.
Yeah.
Ooh, Peanut again in the backline, found Bang, but that's again so aggressive, and I'm gonna say it, too aggressive again from Peanut.
Yeah, Peanut just does what he wants in the series. It seems like maybe they let him loose from the caller, you know. It's like, you do you, Peanut, and we'll just follow up. But yeah, there he definitely went too hard.
Bang gonna farm it up again. Keeping the CS pretty nice. We actually should check in there because we've seen a lot of action, mainly from the supports roaming around. But even there, as far as the AD carries go, let's actually talk about their itemization a bit. Kind of expected builds, they don't change too much. Baker gets aggressive and doesn't get the all in.
Should be ult first there.
Yeah, you need to ult W, and he W then ulted, so that global actually missed it.
That ult hit Faker as well. That's amazing play from Prey. He's going to look to slow one down. He flashes in. He knows he can get Wolf. He does take it down. Duke is here. Dives in onto Gorilla and gets it, but Prey going to turn around the damage. Smeb's here as well. Wow. Harpoon land. Chrono shift away. Prey still has to keep cutting, but Duke gets the shut down.
Well done.
And there's the Rumble ulti committed as well. Got slowed. Harpoon barely going to miss, but Kuro flashes in with the Rylai's to secure it, and that's going to be one for Viktor.
Duke actually saved that team fight so hard. I think a lot of players would have simply just ulted back out of the fight, but he waited for a shadow to come up, land on Prey, and he picks up both kills there. So that was really well done. Even forcing out Viktor's flash to get the kill on him was super worthwhile. But once again, I mean, Wolf kind of getting caught out. He's far up. He doesn't have his flash from the previous play, so he gets taken down. But there's been a lot of mistakes in this game, certainly. Like, Faker should have got a kill almost for free under the turret. So Flash, he W'd first and then tried to ulti. If he ultied first, I think he actually gets that kill, and this whole fight can look pretty different. But then MF arrow combo comes out and able to get a lot of damage on Faker, and then Wolf is just kind of up in the front trying to save his team, gets taken down.
And like we said, Duke's like the savior of this game for so far.
Look at the patience.
Yeah,
right there.
Oh, just enough mana to use the Q too. Kind of lucky actually.
All calculated.
He would have gotten out too because he had Merc Treads, but yeah, the Viktor flashed on him. Yeah, this whole game, I think they have to put all their eggs on Duke right now because the spot duo can't do too much, and actually Duke's just his kit is pretty good against the champions on Rox.
I will say though, Faker is still really strong, right? Like, Faker is getting to the point where he is going to become pretty impactful. I'm looking for another arrow. This one is going to miss, but I mean, Caitlyn is obviously very behind. Does have farm and is going to become relevant. You know, when she finishes her third item, that's when she's going to become pretty scary. It's kind of the same thing for Orianna. So these guys are going to be kind of waiting for those 3 items. And if Faker's able to finish his death cap reasonably soon, and then Bang can finish his rapid fire, I think they're going to be in a spot where they are going to be very, very scary. And they're only down 2,000 gold. The dragons aren't super impactful, so it's just going to come down to play and avoiding those Ashe pickoffs.
Yeah, if the carries can get damage off, I think SKT's comp looks pretty good. But actually, I also think like Rox, they have so many like carry zoning tools like MF ult, Ashe arrow, Viktor ult, Rumble ult, all of those things to stop like Ori and Caitlyn from doing damage. So it's actually, I feel like the game, Duke has to do most of the heavy lifting for this one.
Cool. Yeah.
So it looks like we have a bit of a siege built up here in mid lane, just some wave back and forth as Rox try and protect that mid ADA for as long as possible. Chris Lewis, though, does have a question out in the Twitterverse. Is Rox bot lane an adaptation to their first game loss, or is a hidden pick, say, for SKT in semis? It feels pretty prepared.
I think it's almost guaranteed a hidden pick, something that they had been preparing. I don't think that you just randomly bring that out in the semis without having practiced that. But
yeah, it looks really well rehearsed too.
Yeah.
And
oh, that was sick.
Faker
could be in trouble. Damage is there, and that's such a good pick-off. I cannot stress this enough. Frey's Ashe is amazing.
Yeah, and they could get chased down because they're actually like cut off from their base. So Rox can push mid, and they kind of have the inside edge here.
Exactly what they're going to do.
At least get this turret.
Oh, Kuro chasing down Duke could be dangerous. Kuro's like, yep, don't really fancy my 1v1. Gonna rejoin my team, and Rox actually gonna go Baron instead. They call the audible away from that mid tier 2. I'm gonna try and take down this buff. Faker up 20 seconds, Blank still alive.
This should be good for Rox for the most part. It's hard for Olaf to get into the pit, and they have all 5 up. They should at least be able to. Oh, they might try to burn it actually.
Got the damage.
Does have Zyra ult and stuff.
Oh, Blank runs in. Ragnarok, he knows he got the steal, but he's just gonna get blown up. Beautiful play from the Rox Tigers, securing yet another Baron.
Yeah, for Olaf, it's so hard to get those Baron steals because it's so predictable how he's going to do it. I think it's hard to say like if he should have gone in like a little later or something, but maybe he didn't have the information to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have flash, so you can't go over the wall. You don't have a gap closer. There's like no dash. You just have to run straight through everyone. But ooh,
you lose your resist too when you just run in, right? So
yeah,
it's hard for him.
Kyle's starting to fall left, right, and center now. 4-2 up in turret for the Rox Tigers, and the bot lane duo has kind of just snowballed the rest of the map out of control. Rox again taking over, and Prey's Ashe setting up for pick after pick after pick. Rox, they're great as a macro team. They know where they want to be on the map, and Prey's just setting it all up for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Ashe arrow onto Faker gets them that kill, and that's what allows them to take the Baron, and really that's what they needed to kind of blow this game open. Last outers, if they can pick up top and bot, that's a lot more gold going into their pockets, and they can continue to kind of push this forward. And They will have to be a bit careful, though, of like TP flanks from Duke and stuff, because if you do get flanked by Duke and Blank and Viktor can kind of somehow get a shockwave off with the ball delivery systems and stuff, that can be scary. But I do think that they're in a fantastic position to kind of push in here and extend their lead.
Yeah. Also, they've just been so like patient with the game. They're only going on good Ashe arrows, which makes like the game pretty fail-safe too. Like there's not much risk in what they're doing, and also. I think now since they have the Baron buff, they can actually just pull the trigger and on one of the towers just go for a dive if the arrow hits well.
I also think that Prey's build is quite intelligent. Whoa.
Nice arrow.
That's an ulti.
He's so scared actually. I don't think he was in too much trouble.
Yeah, it's probably just a little bit of nerves there, getting a little bit scared, as you said, from that. But the Maw, I think, is quite smart because it's like, when you look at this game, it's like, okay, well, how does SKT win? Well, it's probably Duke diving in on the Ashe and getting a shockwave off, you know, like that kind of a big play where you just one round is Ashe, who's really strong, and building the Maw, he doesn't actually need like an IE. He doesn't need to be this godlike auto attacker. He just needs to keep fishing for arrows and stay alive. And I think that this build is really intelligent because
and Prey, great ult from Faker.
As you say that.
Can't save you from adding anything.
I mean, damage is there. They're trying to do it. Pina, oh my god, you're crazy. Ulti there from MF can actually zone them out. It's enough for Blake. All the heal forced out. Not enough.
It did way more damage than I thought, actually. I thought it was definitely not going to.
I mean, we saw it before. Black Cleaver didn't get to be finished, but it will be finished this game.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready for legitimate damage misfortune as the tier 2 drops again, and the Rox squad is back to the fountain.
What do you guys think will be the next item for MF?
Oh, man.
She has it.
No, after Black Cleaver. He's got it now.
Yeah, so I actually think that...
IE, do it. No.
Well, I personally think that someone should get a locket. Like, the fact that they don't have a locket, I think is pretty bad. Does he have to build it? No, I think Lee Sin or someone could build it. But I don't know what your feeling is on this. I think not having a locket against Orianna and Zyra and an Ekko is like pretty bad itemization for your team.
I think you just can't control Pina. He's just going to deal some damage and some tanky stuff.
Someone's got to take the hit. Build an 80 carry locket. Get in there, Prey. Because someone should have a locket against 3 APs who are going to be doing a significant amount of damage, especially just like the ambient damage and stuff from Zyra as she starts to get more spell plan, I think. It can be a massive difference.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a little late too. It's like 32 minutes, so when Locket gets finished, it should be like 35 or 37 minutes into the game.
Oh, Blank running with the ball.
He caught the axe.
Gonna try and start something here. Kuro gonna get forward out position, and that's enough damage. Actually should be able to take him out instead, and they will.
Gorilla too.
Kuro lives for a little while, but Duke dives in. Gorilla trying to cut out as best he can, but he lost the ult out. Gorilla doing huge amount of damage, and here comes Spray for cleanup. Whoop! Taking damage as Faker slays MF finally, but Pina in the other side as Smeb tries to dive in. 2v4 right now. Prey, can he cut it out for a little longer? Peanut's gonna bail, and he's just gonna fire away. Prey does a decent amount of damage. There it is. There, Pina cleans up Bang, but now it's 1v3. Blank looking in, does go down, and Prey, he's going to put the team on his back again. Pina revives from the GA. Now they're going to turn it back in. Prey gets one there, takes up Faker. Duke going to go down as well, and Prey saves the day once again. It's the Rox Tigers style on SK Telecom.
That was like a 2v4.
That was
absurd.
2v4.
Holy moly.
I actually can't believe that. And Prey flashed forward as an Ashe into that fight, cleaning it up. And it kind of feels to me like SKT either needed to fully bail out or fully commit to that. And they kind of waffled a bit back and forth, and it was a great start to the fight. I mean, Blank is essentially just able to run down Kuro and kill him off almost for free. But, you know, on the later half of this fight, Prey comes in, he's pretty much untouched, and a lot of SKT got chunked out, both by the Rumble ulti and by the MF ulti. And then here, I do really feel like SKT needed to all run and zone with the Faker's Orianna ball, or fully commit. Like, everyone go in on him at the same time. Because they're just strafing back and forth, there's lots of free autos going off, and then he's able to commit to it. And Faker still is not in position to kind of return damage there, right? Like, no one is in the right position.
Yeah, it seems like just a lot of scramble calls. Maybe they're really happy about the fight going well to start, so they weren't so finished on like the tail end of it. Yeah, this is just an insane play, honestly. Like, Pina even used his kick to like finish, like pretty much wasted it on Zyra because she was already dead. So all they really had was just like a Ashe flash and a tanky Lee Sin with no ult. It's crazy that they actually turned that whole fight around.
And I like kind of a question about, you know, how does the MF ulti with Black Cleaver Mortal Reminder do? pretty good amount of damage, actually. I mean, with the Rumble ulti, there's kind of a cool AoE combo, so I like seeing that. I don't quite like the longsword as
they want
much.
Prey. He has no flash, remember.
Gotta keep bailing. Blank wants it. He's not gonna get it.
Well, actually, if Blank, like, just ulted the Lee Sin kick,
Exactly.
that might have been a kill, actually.
He needs to ult earlier, but that kick allowed him to peel, and now he doesn't have his ult.
Yep, Blank's caught. Good equalizer. Gonna try and jam them down, but SKT getting out. No, Kuro gonna force them out with the AoE zone. Bang needs to run. Does get out.
That's a Viktor nerf right there.
Yeah.
The storm is so slow if you're not around it. But yeah, they barely scrape by. They might lose the tower here for... Actually, the wave is a little far. They're just gonna set up for the Baron.
Yep, up in 25 seconds. So smart stuff from Rox. Always have the objectives in mind and will be plenty healthy with the triple Ocean Drakes they've accrued as well. Rox certainly in position to push themselves to series point here if they take this game. We might see AShe win 3 games in the series already. Bottom lane certainly look great here for Rox. And SKT, it's just been the struggle. You know, Bang's pretty big. We'll see if it's Caitlyn can show up in the late game team fights, but Wolf has had a rough 2 games in a row now.
Yeah, Wolf has been very ineffective, but I will say that SKT, even though they are behind quite a bit of gold, if they can keep hanging around, the gold starts to matter less and less pretty soon here. Usually people talk about like the 80,000 gold mark type thing where everyone's starting to get capped out. And Rox's players are getting kind of close to that point. Faker does have a lot of items. If he lands a shockwave, it can turn around fights. And Rox is going to have to be careful because they don't have flashes right now on their carries. And if they got caught by Duke, by Faker, they can still get taken down. And even that top lane fight, right? That was very close to going SKT's way, if not for some incredible play from Prey specifically and some kind of miscommunication from SKT.
Yeah, I think the name of the game is just to do what's been working for them all game.
Arrows.
Yeah, fish for arrows and like stay away from Duke and Blank like the plague, you know. Just really keep your distance, and one of these arrows are gonna hit, you know. We trust Prey.
And I like kind of what you said before, Gate, about it. It's like it's very safe way to try and approach there.
They're doing the opposite, so
this is risky. I mean, Prey doesn't have his flash still. Kuro almost does. Wow.
Great calculation. Arrow hits. Someone?
Banshees.
Ah, unlucky. It hit, so his hit rate stays up. But now SKT are actually in a good little flank kind of here. SKT have to be careful, but Duke's kind of zoning them away, and this is a dangerous spot to walk through, but they will do so, and they claim the Baron safely. Everyone's still alive. I'm
pretty surprised that SKT wasn't in position to even try something there, and it looks like they're setting up for a bit of a desperation flank or something that they were trying to get, but Rox is aware where they are, and they can just kind of shove in mid lane and make SKT take the long way home.
Everyone's got their cooldowns though. Rox gonna shove down mid.
Well, SKT
do they? Rox to run up top.
This is so all in. So he's gonna actually zone them out. Duke taking damage. Rox just gonna stand and try and kite them out of the way here.
You're gonna lose everything for this. They might lose top tower too. There's no wave, but they get up for free too.
Yeah, they run out top.
Wow.
So that was so well managed by Rox, and that really just kind of stinks of desperation to me from SKT. They knew they shouldn't have given up the Baron. Then they do. They try to set up in the Wraith Rush, but they get spotted out. I think that was a hawk shot, or maybe just they expected him to be there. But either way, so well done by Rox. They get 1 free inhib. And now, massive wave here. They're pushing for 2. And
ooh, it's Faker again. Peanut wants it. He's going to commit. He flashes for it, but Faker going to ulti 2 back. Smeb taking damage as well. Bang is burning down as the Zonis gets popped for Rumble. Tower is going to fall here, but Rox maybe went a little too far forward. Peanut, though, revives again. GA usage, very nice. Bang forced to flash out and gets himself to safety, but the damage is almost done. Blank looks like he might go down. He barely lives through the Viktor damage, and Rox ravaged through SKT's base. They're going for it, actually.
And this is kind of risky because all of SKT are alive now.
It's kind of risky. That's just Rox Tigers in as a whole, man.
They want Bang. They look for it with the proto about Duke trying to flank, but Prey is going to shoot him down. Duke might buy his team some time, but he's going to die. Oh, no.
This could be the game, actually.
That might have just cost him the game.
Maybe.
He was trying to cut the creep wave there, and he actually just got stuck in the minions and taken out.
I mean, not too much he could have done, but it's very unfortunate for Duke, certainly, as he does get caught and killed, and the GA's burnt as well. Oh, the hits on the Blank, they're just going to try and zerg him down. Not quite enough damage, but again, SKT are solo. They are fighting with almost no health, trying to close out this game, and Rox are just slowly pushing forward. Peanut in again, kicks someone in the face and takes up Blank. Rox Tigers up 2-1.
What a game. I think another story of the bottom lane, though. This MF AShe duo is just doing so much.
Seriously, Prey just like hard carried that game. That was pretty incredible. He played it so well. And even just at the end, you can see how frustrating it was to play against Gorilla. He was constantly zoning people out with the E. Like, anytime Bang was trying to move in and get some damage out, he'd immediately get E'd by MF. So you're slowed down, you're standing in this AoE, taking damage. Even just the threat of like Lee Sin hitting a Q on you or something when you're in that slow field is much higher, so you have to like just back off.
Yeah, it seems like it's really easy to kill the tanks too. Even like the Ekko was really strong that game, but the Black Cleaver MF can just shred his armor.
So that's actually what I was going to ask you. I remembered I had a question because we saw more from AShe. We saw Mortal Reminder, Black Cleaver, of course, from MF, but no major armor penetration item on the AShe. I was going to ask you guys what you thought about it, because usually we see, you know, some sort of Last Whisper item, but did MF maybe with the more as well just provide enough, do you think?
I honestly just think it was one of those things where he just wanted to survive more than he needed to do the extra damage. Like, they were enough ahead that it was just about the arrows and stuff to me. Like, he wanted CDR. He's not going the IE build where it's about all his auto attacks and stuff. The Maw, to me, once again, is just showing he just needs to survive to do enough like that. Because they had a lot of damage from the rest of their team too. Like, MF is doing a decent bit. Viktor is really strong. Rumble does a lot. You just don't need the extra damage. At least that's how I read it.
Cool. Maybe in the later parts of the game, he might have opted to sell like an item for it. But yeah, you saw like everyone's a damage dealer, so there's no reason to have 5 damage dealers, right? But they did anyway. So. And
I have even more fun facts for you. So I mentioned, I think last game, Gorilla was doing more damage than anyone else in the game at one point. I think about 14 minutes or so. This game, Gorilla outdamaged everyone on SK Telecom. He did more damage to champions than Faker, than Bang on Caitlyn, and even Duke and his diving Ekko.
It's pretty insane. And a lot of it is so much to do with composition, like you talked about. The Rumble ultimate in the back line, MF is zoning you out, the AShe arrow coming in, the threat of Lee Sin. There's so much kind of just zoning to the SKT carries that they actually can't get in to do anything, right? They can't get in to do any attacks because you start walking forward to attack, and then all of a sudden, Rumble ulti, MFE, AShe arrow, like all this stuff, and you just have no health anymore.
Yeah. Usually games are about damage dealers, but actually this game was about the tanks, so they couldn't get too much done with like how much of an advantage Rox had.
And I mean, we unfortunately will not be covering the bot lane again next game, but we are going to get at least another game here. I have to ask you though, if you go in, you've played against it twice now, do you not pick Zyra?
I don't.
Do you ban Misfortune? Like,
I think
do you take AShe away? Maybe that's the key piece?
Definitely look for the AShe or something, and just don't play Zyra. You don't have to ban MF, but I think just avoid Zyra. I know Wolf can play other champions, but I don't think he has to tunnel so hard on just having the Zyra for his own team.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. Thank you for joining us, because up next, Zig is going to be back for a single team perspective cast. We'll see Game 4 through Rox Tigers' eyes only with the Fog of War enabled. Until then, we'll send you back to New York as Dash and the analysts break down another explosive Rox Tigers victory.
It's all about the draft.